We're here. We're back. Talking Seaweed Podcast.
Interview with Joe Dalton. The Joe Dalton.
I have his card around here somewhere.
JoeDalton.com.
JoeDalton.com.
So, Joe, you're a professional consultant with what school?
New England Grassroots Institute.
So what does that mean? So like what exactly does that entail? Being a consultant for the cannabis industry.
Great question. So consultant...
They're coming. They're all coming.
Yeah, they're coming fast. They're coming fast. Man, the phones are really ringing. The emails are coming in. As you know, you've got recreational coming now in Massachusetts this summer. It'll hit. And this thing is really going to light up because all of a sudden you're going to have more consumers. You know, you're going to have younger consumers coming into the market. You're going to have companies looking to get in it. And they need to be able to grow it in that state, so they need to be able to set up. So if someone's coming to us saying, we want to set up a dispensary, we want to do retail, we want to do social, there's so many things here in Massachusetts that are going to be different than some of the other states. You know, imagine one of the things they talked about at the commission was having a yoga studio. Imagine having a yoga studio and being able to partake in the herbs, get in the right mindset, and
They got him in Colorado.
Yeah.
Do them like that. And so it's going to be bring your own. There's there's less liability on the proprietor, and I think that's going to be huge too. Imagine, you know, it's legal here in our state, but where do you go?
Right.
So to be a consultant, you know, we can consult. Let's say someone comes to us and says, you know, I really want to pursue a career in the industry. How do I do it? Well, why don't we start you out by going through our amazing 8-week course. That 8-week course will bring you back into history. It'll teach you everything. You know, where did the plant, who used it? 5,000 years ago in the Ming Dynasty, they used it. You know, the queens
What did they
used
use it for?
They used it for medicinal purposes, for healing the body.
Did they smoke it? Did they apply it?
They did everything.
They did everything.
They did lots of things with it. And there's some information when you go back there and you go, you just, really? And then you move forward in time and you try to figure out, well, why did that plant become the evil thing all of a sudden? It was a business move. Very powerful business people made a decision that hemp was going to compete with their synthetics.
Oil, right?
Oil is number one.
Paper.
You know, because if you look at...
Paper was big business.
It was a huge business.
For
Two
the
things.
internet.
One is it controlled...
Paper is the stuff for everybody on the internet. This is the stuff that they used to print books on before ebooks.
Yeah, what book? What, Daddy, what's books? It's like, what's a payphone?
It always reminds me of that Rage Against the Machine lyric where he's like, they don't got to burn the books, they just remove them. Because all of our books are becoming streamed.
Digital.
So if it's not offered, you're not getting it.
Right.
Well, you know, books are the same thing as newspapers. It's how you can control a narrative by your view and what you put in words. And words control. I've always said that. If you put an S in front of a word, you have sword. Swords can either defend you or they can hurt you.
Right.
Know the words.
And the pen is mightier
Than the sword. Much mightier.
Well, that's why they got the same stories, different headlines in different areas, you know?
Yep.
It's all targeted.
Yeah, it's about you know, control, and that's what happened back in history. So we'll go back to that point when it was purely a business move, financial, so they could control it. Because hemp, let's talk about hemp. Hemp, actually, here in Boston, where we park our cars when we have lobster, right?
Right.
There's a ship out there called the Constitution. Did you know it has 60 tons of hemp on it now? It actually has a hemp museum in it. All the sails are made from hemp. The rope was made from hemp. So hemp, in its pure sense, you make newspaper, paper, any type of paper.
Constitution was printed on hemp paper, wasn't it?
Excuse me?
The Constitution?
Our Constitution is on hemp paper. Right?
Wasn't George Washington like a huge
He grew it.
weed guy? He was a big sativa guy.
Yeah, they grew hemp. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't burn with them, but they all grew hemp on their farms, and it was actually mandated that they had to grow hemp because that was part of the economy. Newspaper, you can make clothes from it. The clothes last 10 times longer than our clothes. Jeans that you have today don't last that long. Theirs did. They used them out in the farms. They had to be very durable. You can build with it. You can make hempcrete with it. So anything you can make with petrochemical, you can make with the hemp plant.
Wait,
the
you can
sativa
make
plant.
hempcrete? You can
Hempcrete.
make like concrete, but with hemp.
With hemp, correct.
And it's solid.
Yes,
And
it's
it's
stronger. It's stronger than concrete. It's lighter than concrete, and it is less expensive.
Oh, is that mic falling, Joe?
If that mic was made of hemp,
this happens.
if that mic was made of hemp, it
Check,
wouldn't have done
check,
that.
sound check. 1, 2, 3. Checking 1, 2, 1, 2.
good.
All right, we're back in business, everybody. So back to the hemp, right? So the hemp was something that you could grow in your backyard. You could grow on your farm. It cleans the soil. It cleans the air because it takes in carbon dioxide.
How's it
and
clean the
lets
soil?
out oxygen.
How does it clean the soil?
Because hemp and cannabis, they're called bioaccumulating plants.
Okay.
That means they accumulate from the soil. They pull up from their roots. They pull and leach up heavy metals and toxins from the soil. As a matter of fact, Chernobyl, which was a nuclear accident in Russia, they have floating barges now on the water with hemp plants growing like hydroponically with their roots going down into the water, and they leach up the cesium. Then they encapsulate and then they incinerate those plants properly. That's how they're cleaning the water over there with the pollution from the nuclear waste.
No wonder they don't want it to be legal. They'll lose all their money.
Yeah, exactly.
They
And
lose everything.
They'll lose everything.
They lose everything. That's rough.
diesel fuel, you can replace that with the oils from hemp, from the seed. That oil can be used just like a diesel fuel. You could use it to heat your home if you have oil heat.
It's incredible.
Is that a possibility though? Can you get enough hemp seed where you could run all the diesel trucks that we have like just in America?
Great question. Well, if you look at what the government does now to subsidize the corn industry to make ethanol, they make ethanol. They get subsidized. The farmers get paid more to make that corn for ethanol than they do to feed the world.
That's smart.
So
sounds like something government would do.
it's not that efficient because the same acre of land that you grew an acre of corn, you could get 10 times the production volume with hemp from that same acre. And it's going to clean the soil and it's going to clean the air. Because remember, the plant takes in carbon dioxide, lets out oxygen. We breathe oxygen. We exhale carbon dioxide. So there's a symbiotic relationship with the plant. Our forefathers knew that, and the ancients all knew that as well.
Do you think that could be part of the reason why the carbon levels are going up? Because the hemp is being cut down?
Well, no, yeah, in a sense, it's not the hemp being cut down, it's the forests, deforestation. If you look at the Amazon, that they're wiping out the Amazon.
So does it work the same way with a tree as it would with hemp?
Well, the tree is the same thing. It's a plant that takes in carbon dioxide as its fuel and lets out oxygen. But if we're cutting down the trees for newspapers and books and other paper products, making copy machine paper.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
You're
cutting down.
How am I supposed to get a picture of my ass?
That would be digital anyways, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, we're well past those days, huh?
So if you look at what you can do with hemp, because hemp you can grow 2 inches apart, and based on the strain,
and it grows faster too.
Yeah, a lot of cellulose in it, and so there's so many things. And hemp is what's going to change the world economy.
Fair enough.
A lot of foreign countries are really doing a lot with hemp right now. Canada is growing hemp.
Kentucky they grow hemp, right?
They can grow hemp, and under certain projects you can grow hemp. You have to have licensing.
Is hemp legal in Massachusetts?
You can grow. Well, hemp is cannabis. It's a different strain of cannabis.
So technically, I could.
Technically, you could. You can't grow large volumes of it, though. You can only grow the limit, the legal limit. So you would grow 6 plants.
5,000 plants, I think. It's the legal limit. Right?
No.
This dude.
Not today. Not today, son.
So how much, if I wanted to grow, what was the legal limit? Like 6 plants, 8 plants?
Yeah, here in Massachusetts, it's 6 plants. Unless you live in a household of more than 2 people or 2 people, you can have a maximum of 12.
Oh, okay.
That's the current reg.
So if I put like 12 hemp plants in my, outside of my house, what would that do? Well, how would that improve?
Before you just go put them outside your house, you want to go to, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't give legal advice.
Oh,
so
no.
No legal advice
we're
here.
assuming that nothing we're doing is, we're just talking about the effects of plants.
Yeah.
We're talking about chemistry.
Yeah.
Don't fucking call us with your nonsense. We're not committing crimes.
Yeah. No crimes.
That's the Talking Seaweed disclaimer. Go fuck yourself. We're not committing crimes.
No crimes here. I just don't want to have anybody say, "Hey, what he said." No.
Yeah, no. Joe Dalton didn't say this.
I didn't say.
Joe Dalton didn't say shit.
But we got you on recording. No, anyways, you just always check with your state laws. You can go right online, make sure you follow those and being compliant. But
All
in
right,
a
so
general
if I
sense,
live on an island and I run this island and I'm the king of my island. We don't live under American law. We don't live under any other law. On my island, I encourage hemp, but only 10. You only get to have. Would you say 12?
So-
you only get to have 12 plants at each house because it's too good.
I got a question. If we're living on his island, right? Are we paying tax to the king?
No, he doesn't like taxes.
No taxes. Okay. Are we subservient to the king?
No. There's
So
no
we can
rules.
just squat on his land
If
and take
I'm the
over?
king, let me tell you like this.
Well, then I want a piece of your land then.
Well, I have guns too. Yeah, you don't get to take
So
my
there is
shit.
a fee to pay.
No. There's a line. You
Take
can
my
have
stuff.
your land. Like, you ever heard that song? This land is my land. This land is your land.
And you stay over there and I'll stay over here.
Just stay away from my land,
Yeah.
and you can do whatever you want
Sure.
on my island. That's it. So if we're growing hemp on my island, like, how much of it would it actually take to make a difference on, like, let's just say an acre of property? Because you said it would help with the toxins in the soil. It would help with the air quality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let's just say I had a small garden.
Well, your garden
20
wouldn't-
by 10.
Your garden wouldn't affect that equation.
No,
But
not
imagine 5 million people just like you doing the
With a
same
little
thing.
bit. If we
with
all had a little bit
in their backyard,
would absolutely-
imagine what that would do. Imagine if it's now the farmers are going back to work because hemp can make it. You can make clothing, food, fuel, fiber, building materials. You'd put the farm community back.
It's funny you say back to work because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of farmers are being paid not to farm.
Correct.
Like, they're being subsidized not to farm to make sure that we can. I don't know what the real idea.
Well,
of
it's
it
real
is.
simple. Think
They
about the
don't want
money.
us to farm.
Follow the money. If you follow the money, you can get the truth.
Well, yeah, sure.
The truth is
Always.
we want to be able to have our friends over here and over here be able to sell those products
Yeah,
to us.
exactly.
So I can't have my people making all that stuff here.
Fair enough.
Right. Well, you see that's changing, but I don't want to get down the political path because that's
Oh,
not me.
no, that's not politics.
Oh,
that's
okay, good.
that's just I don't even know what we're talking about.
We're talking about cannabis, hemp, and the benefits
hemp.
of
We're talking
it.
about
You know,
hemp.
what can it do for
And
me?
it can help people. Okay.
Yeah, it helps people in all sorts of ways. So the school will teach you those things, the history, and you want to learn how to grow it. So you want to grow your own. You want to collapse your learning curve. We can teach you that, what to look for, what to do, how to get started, and where to look for the information. Then we can teach you, now that you've grown it, like, as a matter of fact, here's some goodies. As a matter of fact, remember our last episode we talked about the sea vault?
Yep.
It's kind of like my humidor. Well, you know how it is. You grow your stuff, you get your goodie, and you want your goodie to stay goodie, right? So we want to put it into this little this device. It's a humidor. Here it is as a moisture pack. This particular company. This one is a 62% relative humidity. You can go multiple different humidity settings. I like the 58 to 62. So what it does, those packs will actually put moisture into your cannabis or your herbs and take
creates the
moisture out. It's inside. It's in a gel.
What's
So-
in the gel?
I don't know what it is. I haven't taken it apart, but if you want to, we
Is
can
it
cut it open.
organic?
Oh yeah, but it doesn't let out any non-organic into my herbs, so it stays contained in that package. And what it does is it keeps the moisture level correct in the herb, so it preserves and helps the herb. Keeps I can keep my pre-rolls in here.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's actually a low kush.
So
So
a Christmas tree.
well, it could be. If we could probably.
It has
let's
the
mount
pine.
it.
What is it? What was
Look
it?
at
The
that,
pineal. What was it?
Pine cone gland?
Pine cone gland? No.
No,
We
we're
were talking about the terpenes.
Oh, the
The
turkey.
last time we were here.
Pinene.
Pinene. That's what it was. We were talking pineal gland earlier. That's why I was like, is it
Okay.
named after that?
Yeah. So again, you use this and you preserve it. Great little device. You can do mason jars with those packs. You can put them in there too. I
Yeah.
have those as well. But I like to, when I take out my goodie, I want it to still be goodie.
Yeah.
And
Right on.
have a nice experience. So back to the plant and other things. Like, here's another product. This is a topical. This is a salve. This is actual salve that's made with the root of the plant. A lot of you growers that are seeing this, you probably don't realize that you're throwing out your roots. I used to throw out my roots. I cut the plant, cure it, take care of my goodie herbs and all that, not knowing that I was throwing out one of the most valuable parts as well, because it's valuable from the roots to the top. Every part of it, the stems, the
Short technical difficulties. We're back. Where were we, guys?
We were talking about how awesome weed is.
We were talking about this stuff and the roots of the plant and
The healing benefits of the sacred plant called hemp, cannabis, sativa, indica. There's all sorts of names. Ultimately, it's under the hemp plant, and then the strains are based on the cultivation and where they come from the earth, different parts of the globe. But when you move up from the topicals, then you want to learn how to grow it. That's what we teach, because there's a lot of people that are looking at us going, hey, yeah, I can grow it. And I have that's how I started out 30 plus years ago. I had some seeds from a really nice bag of herb, and I had a couple of seeds, and next thing you know, we're growing in a little pot in the back shed. And from there, you had to figure it out on your own. There was no one you could turn to because it was under prohibition. You had to just figure it out, and you make a lot of mistakes. So what we're going to show you is how to do it in a very short fashion of learning, how to do it correctly, how to grow clean cannabis. Because a lot of people now are looking at cannabis as the stigma is going away, and more people starting to realize there's healing benefits from this plant.
right.
And they're trying to figure out, okay, what works for them and what ailments they have. I mean, like the shirt says, cannabis oil kills cancer. I have more people come up to me and say, well, how? Well, it's going to take me a little bit to explain it, but in a basic fashion, I'll explain it. But in our class, we go into real in-depth details. What most people don't realize is they have a cannabinoid system in their own body. It's called endo, or internal endocannabinoid system.
Right.
So your cells have receptors on them. Raphael Mechoulam discovered that these receptors, there's two types identified. CB1 receptors are in your brain and in your brain stem, in the spinal cord. And that's why if you're an opiate person that's dependent on opiates and you take too many, it shuts down your respiratory system because it can affect your spinal cord and your respiratory system. You stop breathing. That's what happens. The cannabis plant
Smell that.
and the compounds from the plant, the
What's
cannabinoids,
Smell it. It's cheese.
they don't affect any of that. They don't affect your breathing. That's why there's no recorded deaths from cannabis in history. So
Right.
no one's ever died from it. So the receptors are CB1s in your
A
brain.
woman actually screamed for death. I don't know if you know.
We were reading an article. A woman cried out for death because
She was smoking weed and it gave her violent vomiting fits.
something.
But they didn't. But and everybody thought she was an alcoholic, but she wasn't.
This
She
was the most fucked up article we ever read. It just didn't make any sense, and we're like, this sounds like a load of shit to me.
There you go.
It sounded like it was written by like the anti-cannabis.
You think
Crusaders
they would
of
actually
America.
do that?
No, of course they do, but it was just hilarious that
yeah,
like
You don't
it-
think they'd lie to us?
No,
Not
should've
us.
said, cried out for
We're
death.
the people.
no. People that want stuff don't lie. Obviously.
Are we running out of space on your computer?
No, we're
All
not.
right, good. I just want to make sure we can catch this segment because we're going to
Yeah.
talk about some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's what are we talking about next? So that's pretty much what you do as a consultant over there.
Well, there's lots of things that we do. We wear many hats
Right.
because what's coming at us very fast is people want to learn more about it. They want to pursue a career in the industry.
How does that work? Let's go into that a little bit.
All right, so pursuing a career in the industry. So if cannabis, like any other industry, is going to need people to run it, you're going to need people to grow it. You're going to need people to set up the business, run the business. You're going to need people to process. You're going to need to buy soils and amendments and nutrients and water and equipment. And all of those are ancillary business. Lighting, CO2. You're going to need humidification.
Right, so there's a lot of jobs,
dehumidification,
yeah.
A lot of jobs. Trimmers that sit and
Right.
trim the herbs. Those that deliver it. Now,
Yeah,
delivery
retail
service.
stores,
So there's
managers,
a whole
people,
new
all that sort of
industry evolving in front of your eyes worldwide.
Right.
And this is the early stages. It's like, if you're a surfer, the wave starts to build,
Right.
And we're down here, and the swell is just starting.
Right. So how does the school? What leads will the school give me to get in the industry that I wouldn't have having not gone to school? If I had the same knowledge that I did, if we talked every day and I soaked up all the knowledge
Like if
from you,
I go to
but I didn't have
joedalton.com
a-
every single day, what's the difference?
that
Here's the
Right?
difference.
No?
kind of go ahead.
Or did I just create a conflict of interest?
No, it's okay. Go
I
ahead.
think I did.
No. It's all good. So let's say that I'm sitting in a waiting room to get interviewed for a job at a large grow or dispensary, and you're sitting there too, and you've been through their course and you've learned all of the backstory. You have a better understanding. You've got stimulated to go and do a little more research on your own. You're online.
Absolutely.
You're reading articles.
I understand all that.
And you've done all that. Now I'm sitting there and I just need a job, and I don't have any experience in it.
Right. It's like any other job, of course. Like any other job.
Considered probably you over me, right?
If you go to school for something, you're going to get
Yeah.
the job before someone who didn't, most likely, for sure. I meant, do they have connections with dispensaries where they, is it, because obviously when you go to college too, they hook you up with internships, they hook you up with all sorts of things.
Not everybody.
No, of course not.
They don't hook up everybody. That some do get hooked up and some don't.
My point is the connections are there from the school. You know what I mean? Like if you want to do the right, so someone goes to the school, now they want a job. Does the school help them from there, or do they just have to, go? You got a certificate now, go out and good luck.
Yeah, like if I want to run the CIA,
I'm just curious because I'm sure that's probably the hardest part, knowing like who do I contact where it's such in its infancy. You know what I mean?
Since we started in 2012, so we're the first and the longest, and actually currently the only resource in the state of Massachusetts. There'll be others, I'm sure, and that's great because we're going to teach as many people as we can. So to answer your question, what happens is we become a force in the industry. We're recognized. We were here in the beginning. We started it. We were the ones that actually, Mike and Melissa Fitzgerald, the co-founders of New England Grassroots Institute, came out and just said, we're pressing forward. Where other people, even like myself, we were just like, I don't want to be out in public.
Yeah.
They had the guts to stand out and say, enough is enough. We're going to get this information out. It's information and knowledge. It's personal enrichment. Some nice tasties. And so they had the foresight to do that, and things are changing right in front of our eyes. And now what happens is now the players that are coming into the market, the investors, they're approaching us to help them get set up with their dispensaries in their grow operations. They're coming to us because we're the experts.
Okay.
Now what happens is you're in our class, you shine, you're a top performing student. And now what happens is we somebody approaches us, we need a grower, we need support growers, we need trimmers, who do you know?
Right.
And we're going to be, we've got a handful of candidates that have gone through our course that we think would be exceptional for you. So yeah, we've helped place many people in dispensaries, because right now it's medical dispensaries. We've placed a lot of our students. A lot of our students have left us and started their own businesses. They got the spark and the information. They started a business. Like there's lots of people doing these topicals and ointments and salves and tinctures. They're using the roots of the plant. So yeah, to answer your question, we're not going to place every student.
Of course.
It's just like a college. They don't place every student. The ones that really stand out, the ones that push hard,
the recommendations.
the ones that do the homework. You leave our class, you got to do your own homework.
Right.
We're going to give you the resources. We're going to give you the direction. We're going to give you the support. As a matter of fact, anybody that might be hearing this, if you hear this before January 19th of 2018, we're actually having a launch party for our foundation, New England Grassroots Foundation. We're setting that up as a patient support structure because a lot of people that have illnesses, cancer, think about who do you know? Who was in your family that passed or has it? We all get touched. As a matter of fact, it's about approaching 40% of the population has been estimated that will have cancer.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's huge.
Really, yeah.
So that foundation, we're having a party on the 19th. That's what I was going to get to at the Elks in Randolph. So I know there's people that are going to hear this. They're like, what? Where's Randolph? So for our local guys, you guys are welcome to come if you like. Invite your friends. It's going to be a great time. That's when you get to meet our community, the people that come
you get
together.
To meet Raw the Rapper.
Yeah.
When we bring Raw the Rapper by.
Bring him in.
Bring Raw the Rapper if we can bring him. He's amazing.
Hopefully he's available. He's kind of busy for us.
Rob the Rapper.
Is
he half in the rapper?
No, it's Raw the Rapper.
Raw the Rapper.
What do lions do?
Oh, Raw. Yo, Raw. Hey, Raw. Raw, the sun god.
I'm dead.
That's Raw.
The raw.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, we're having a cool party.
Yeah,
and
so
you
we'll
get
be
to meet
there.
the
Though
community.
we
Yeah.
will be there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so the foundation is going to be there as a support system to help. But so we're at all the major events. You can see us come meet our booths, and all of our alumnists. We run the booths. We're volunteers. We go there. We want to spread the message.
So did you go? Did you take the course?
I did, yeah. So the backstory for me is about 7 years ago, I lost my father to cancer. It was a very aggressive cancer. I mean, it came on fast and he passed, but he went through severe agony. And I'm one of 9 children. So we were all there when he passed. We were fortunate and blessed to be at his side when he had his last breath. And then to watch that guy, your hero, go through that, and me being his genetic code, because if you saw a picture of him, you would say, you look just like your father.
Yeah.
That means I'm built just like my father, my genetic code. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, I want to fix this. Now, my father was a fixer of things, and I was too. I wanted to be a mechanic. I love working on dirt bikes and engines. I like to fix stuff. So I like to take things apart and see how they tick and put them back together. That's how I was wired as a kid.
Right.
So I like that. Now I did it in business. But when I went through this event and it touched our family, I said to myself, I'm going to fix this. Why not? And I'm going to go on a quest for information and search for knowledge. And I did. And within a couple of years, I came across New England Grassroots Institute. By synchronicity, if you will.
So prior to losing him, you were already heavy into the cannabis thing, but you were growing, no?
Not at that time.
No, oh, okay.
So on and off.
That's what I was trying to see, how much this,
Yeah.
you went from, you just completely did a 180.
So on and off for 30 years, you grow. And growers that are watching this that are long term, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You'll do, a couple year session, 2-3 years, and you need a break, right? And it's not like you're doing it for just growing for yourself and a few friends, And there's others that might do it to try to help supplement their rent. I don't know. But
regardless, Joe Dalton didn't tell you to do shit.
I didn't tell you shit. I don't give legal advice. I'm not a doctor. I don't give medical advice. But I play one on TV though.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to see where where.
So what I did is I always said back in my teens, late teens, and into my early 20s, I always had a saying that I said to all my friends that the cannabis as I was smoking, I called it the cure-all. I just always instinctually knew, and there's a lot of you that are watching this and have seen this cast. You know what I mean is that it's a cure-all because you just feel good, you feel right.
Yep.
You take other substances, you don't always feel right. You might feel good, but you just don't feel right.
Yeah.
It's not right. So in my heart of hearts, I said, I'm going to go back and study this because you come across information on the internet and you say, wow, the healing benefits. Like I ran into Rick Simpson online and Phoenix Tears. These are websites you can look. When you Google it, you'll find all sorts of resources now. And I started to do the research, and I came across this school, and I said, right away, I couldn't get my money out fast enough to take their 8-week course. And I went through it. When I got there, I initially went into figuring I was going to learn to grow this medicine myself.
Right.
I was going to grow it. And I got there, and that's what I thought about. Okay, when are we going to start germinating seeds and growing some weed here? Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to get into. And I was like, in the first day, we were talking about history 5,000 years ago. And I'm like, but when are we going to start growing weed? And very shortly, I started to get the idea of, wait a minute, I can't come up here to grow it until I understand why. You're growing it, but what for?
Right.
So when you go back in history, you start to understand what they used to use it for. And now you go, okay, now I get it. And then they went into, okay, why did it become illegal? What caused that? Then, okay, what's the current law? Okay, good. Now let's talk about growing it. Okay, see, that's the right progression.
Right.
Do it correctly. Know how to do it lawfully and legally, correctly. Then, now you've grown these great goodies, right? What can you do with it? Well, of course you can smoke it. You can vaporize it. So we teach harm reduction. What's the best methods of ingestion? What's the best methods of intake? Me personally, I stopped burning a long time ago. I'm not knocking it. Some people just prefer the burn. Right. I personally will only vaporize it because it's healthier on my lungs. It's less harmful. So harm reduction.
Only if it's Only if it's organic too.
Only for me personally. I mean, I don't
I'm just
begrudge
fucking with
anybody
you.
growing. If they flush it correctly, you're still going to have trace residual compounds of those synthetic.
Well, I'll tell you what, it tastes good.
Yeah, and when you go all organic, you're just bringing the terroir from the soil or the environment. That's what it means. You're pulling it into the plant because remember, it's a bioaccumulator. It accumulates whatever it comes in contact with. It brings it in. So if you're just feeding it, if you're doing a no-till, grow, and you're just all organic, and there are going to be some products you're going to use that aren't 100%, but they're 90% organic.
Right.
So you're always looking to reduce the harm to your body. And as you guys are younger than I am, that's why I think we'll touch different age groups with this message. Is I'm in my 50s, and when I was in my teens, in my 20s and 30s, and probably up around my 40s, I started to wake up and say, I can't be riding dirt bikes like I used to, riding hard. Because when you crash, as you get older, all of a sudden you say, "Oh man, I didn't heal that fast." When you're younger and you bounced and you bumped, and tumbled, you could get up and get back to work, no big deal. Now you start to realize, I need to take care of the vessel, the body that gets me around, like the car you drive.
So then there's a million different purposes, from rec to medicinal to this stuff here to everything.
Hey, you can build your house with it. You can make clothes with it. You could fuel your vehicle with it. You could clean the air with it.
How do you build your house with it?
Hempcrete and hemp wood press board.
Okay.
And most houses now are all particle wood. That's just chips of wood pressed together with some glue and some chemicals.
Most houses now are built like shit.
Yeah. So anything that you can make with petrochemical and oil, you can make with hemp. That's the message. But you can't control something that the creator made. When your creator made that, man can't say, "That's mine and I'm going to patent it." Can't do it because you didn't create it. The creator did. So man makes something. He goes, now I can put a patent on it and it's mine. Pharmaceuticals and all of it, petrochemical.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct in that regard. Do you have any questions, Bobby? No, you look like you're taking in a lot. Your neck hurt, or what's going on?
My neck's killing me right now. I'm dying inside.
All right,
Just put some salve on. This will help.
I'm trying to hold it together.
Put some of that stuff on. Let's see. Put it to the test.
Put it to the test. It'll 15, 20 minutes. It'll start to.
We'll come back next week and review it. Let me know how it worked.
Yeah.
He's gonna call me like 2 hours from now.
Yeah.
Dude, I just went outside and built a chicken.
All right.
So,
I think that's probably good for this session.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, I appreciate having you guys having me out again. It was awesome.
Of course.
Always love to come in. Hey, I really like to do before we go though.
What's
Can
that?
I show you a couple pictures of my kids?
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
everybody likes to see a picture of your kids, right?
Why not, right? That's what we do here too. It's not all about, oh wait, is it?
Oh, wait a minute.
Just get angry.
Oh, let's try to get the shine off that. Oh, yeah. So this is a picture of a cultivar I developed as a breeder. This is the Low Kush, and this is one of the phenos that came out.
It's also right here.
Yeah, this is the big one that we showed earlier. It was in the seawall. But when you look at it, you can see, I don't know how well we can get this on that screen. If you can see the resin that's on that, those are the trichomes that we were building up. So that phenotype actually really did well, and then we continue to work it. And then here's another one. This is one that Mike Fitzgerald grew. This one is absolutely stunning.
You know what I'll do, Joe, is I'll take a picture of those and I'll layer the picture over them. So
that'd be great. So this is a Sirius 6. Absolutely beautiful. Just look at that. You look at the pictures that you're gonna put into the video. They're just fantastic. So those are my kids. This one's not mine. I'd love to adopt this kid though. Oh, I'll adopt you in a second.
Oh man, it's getting personal.
It is. Hey, cannabis is a spiritual thing.
That it is.
Thanks for having me out again, guys.
Anytime, Joe. We always love.
That's why I'm out of the
Right.
shot.
He's applying.
Yeah, he is.
He's applying his medication, topicals. The roots heal. So thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for coming on. We love to learn.
Talk soon.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Take care.